It was a dark and stormy night, and Emily was driving down a deserted road. She had taken a shortcut to get home faster, but now she was lost. Her phone had no signal, and she couldn't see a thing through the thick fog. She was terrified and alone. Suddenly, she saw a figure in the middle of the road. It was a man with a hood over his head, holding a lantern. Emily tried to swerve out of the way, but her car wouldn't budge. She was trapped, and the man was getting closer. He approached her window and tapped on it with his gloved hand. Emily was frozen in fear, unable to move or scream. The man spoke in a raspy voice, "You shouldn't have come here." Emily tried to start her car, but it wouldn't turn on. The man continued to tap on her window, his face hidden in the shadows. Emily noticed something strange about him. His hands were covered in blood. The man suddenly disappeared, and Emily's car started. She floored it and drove away as fast as she could. But she couldn't shake the feeling that someone was watching her. When she got home, she locked all the doors and windows. She tried to forget about the man and the blood on his hands, but she couldn't. She stayed up all night, listening to every creak and whisper in her house. The next morning, Emily went outside to check her car. To her horror, she found a note on the windshield. It read, "I'll be back for you." From that day on, Emily lived in constant fear, always looking over her shoulder. She never took that shortcut again and never drove alone at night, but she couldn't escape the feeling that the man was still out there, watching and waiting for his next victim. Days turned into weeks and weeks turned into months. But Emily couldn't shake the feeling of dread that lingered inside her. She became increasingly paranoid and fearful, always jumping at the slightest noise and constantly checking her surroundings. One day, Emily received a package in the mail. It was addressed to her, but there was no return address. She hesitated for a moment before opening it, but curiosity got the better of her. Inside the package, she found a small box. As she opened it, she was horrified to see a human finger inside. A note fell out of the box, and she recognized the handwriting as the one from the note on her car. It read, "I told you I'd be back." Emily screamed in terror and immediately called the police. They searched the area but found no sign of the mysterious man. They suggested that Emily leave town and go into hiding until they could apprehend the suspect. Emily did as she was told and relocated to a remote cabin in the woods. She thought she was safe, but the feeling of dread lingered inside her. She constantly checked the locks and windows and slept with a knife under her pillow. One night, she woke up to the sound of footsteps outside. She grabbed her knife and peered out the window, but she saw nothing. Suddenly, she heard a tapping on the glass. She slowly turned around, and to her horror, she saw the man with the hood standing right behind her. Before she could react, the man grabbed her and dragged her out of the cabin. Emily fought with all her might, but the man was too strong. She screamed for help, but there was no one around to hear her. Days passed, and Emily's family reported her missing. The police searched for her, but they never found any trace of her. She was gone without a trace. Years went by, and the case of Emily's disappearance remained unsolved. However, rumors started to circulate about a mysterious figure that haunted the woods. Some claimed that the man with the hood was responsible for several disappearances, while others believed that he was a supernatural entity that could never be caught. To this day, no one knows what happened to Emily, and the man with the hood remains at large. Some say that if you drive down that same deserted road on a dark and stormy night, you might see him holding his lantern and waiting for his next victim.